That's great. That's a beautiful thing. I'm so proud of Termanology, man. Before I answer the question, it's something like a week before I would say Termanology produced about 98% of the album. He probably got help with like the drums on maybe one or two times. Cause he's at a point where he's tightening his drums and getting them to sound how he likes, so he would call in help. But yeah, man, I'm so proud of him, man, because it was like a week before we dropped that me and him got into a little brothers conversation, where we going back and forth, and I'm like, yo, man, like, I'm doing this. I want you to, like, this is about you, my brother. Like, this is about you. Not only is it about Ufo Fev, but this is a Termanology produced joint. You can't come into this like, we can't come into this like it's not. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I know he was a little nervous about everybody accepting him. And, so I'm like, yo, bro, we don't have to worry about none of that. You know what I'm saying? I want everybody to know Termanology did this. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a pleasure, bro. So, to answer your question, the project was originally in the works like a year and a half before Fresh Air. I met Termanology first. He was at a Dominican restaurant here in Queens in the neighborhood I reside in. And I walked in and I seen him. I was like, you Termanology, right? He was like, yeah. He respectively, addressed me and stuff, but I know he was looking at it like another rapper, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I had told him who I was and I had just got with Joe. So I was like, yo, I'm down with, Terror Squad, this, that, and the third. And I guess he did his own research. I had seen him just by coincidentally, I had seen him out that same week. So I might have seen him like on a Tuesday, then Thursday night was Static's release and I had got an invite. So I took up the invite. I walked in, I seen him. And then from there, it just been bulletproof. He showed me love that night and we kept in touch. I always wanted to meet Static, you know what I'm saying? That was one of my dreams, like I just wanted to go up to Shade 45, like to meet Static and get up on the show. So like, I kept in touch with Term and Term said he made beats. He was like, yo, I got some beats, man. A lot of people, I don't really got a lot of people to send them to, he really just got a core base with like Fame, Chic, those group of guys that he builds with that he sends beats to. But he was like, so he had sent me like 2 beats and I did them right away and sent them back. And he was like, yo, this is sounding crazy. Like which was Study Anthropology and The Bad Guy. Those were the first 2 he sent. So I did them right away, not knowing they would formulate a project because they didn't sound like they blended together. They just sounded like 2 just hard joints he had. So I know Term's always putting out music, like projects and stuff. So I'm like, probably this will end up on one of his projects as a feature. So I sent them both back and he was like, yo, can I send you some more joints, man? And I'm like, yeah, man, I'm open to it. Let's get it. And he was like, yeah, if it turns into a project, we make a project. So we kept recording in the mix. I had met Static. Eventually I met Static. Worked with them on the 1982 stuff, all the quarantine stuff. I worked with them on a lot of stuff. And after Fresh Air, my engineer, because we try to make things, the timeline coincide with each other. So after Fresh Air, we felt like the Spice record would be dope to see people see us with a higher level artist and hear some different stuff from us. And then the Fentanyl flow was doing well. We dropped Fentanyl and it was doing well. And it's still doing well. Shout out to Fentanyl flow and Crack. And then my engineer was like, yo, it'll be dope if we drop the Term project now, Fev, so it could kind of, your last 2 projects is a Static and the Termanology, it blends them like your chapter with those 2 guys will be, sealed and done. You know what I'm saying? It made no sense to drop Static joint, then we drop Big Ghost and then do Term. It's like, nah, let's just do Term. So Term and Static are brothers and it just made sense. And it lets people hear duality. You get to hear Term's production versus Static's production and the difference, but the similarities because that's who they, that's his apprentice. Term is Static's, that's who he soaked up everything from. but Static doesn't usually make hard stuff. You know what I'm saying? He has to be in the mood to make something that's like super grimy and Fresh Air, like you said, is more soulful. It was inspired by Midnight Marauders. You know what I'm saying? It's like me listening to Midnight Marauders while creating with Static. Also having the conversation with Static, like we were just talking about in the ladder, about how life is a beautiful twist and turns, because I never knew, for me, there was a lot of things I didn't know about Static. I didn't know he came up under Q-Tip. So when he told me he came up under Q-Tip, because I had wrote Bad Luck on Fresh Air and we were recording it. And when we recorded, I was like, yo, this is like my homage to 8 Million Stories from Fife. You know what I'm saying? This is like a Bad Day just gone wrong. This is like my homage to him. And Static was like, yeah, you know, I came up under them. Like, so I'm like, oh man. So that whole session I got to learn. So like, what's the word I'm trying to say, man? Just like unbeknownst to me, man, just subconsciously, I was creating it based off Midnight Marauders with that energy, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, so that's why that's soulful. And then from El Barrio, me and Term are more hardcore. We like to listen, we like to listen to more grimy stuff, you know, the Griseldas, the DMX, the Styles P, you know, all that nice street stuff with me and Term. We big pun heads, you know what I'm saying? Fat Joe, we Joe crackheads, hardcore street hip hop. So Term was just trying to give me them straight hard joints. You know, I would tell him, we would have these conversations. I even said it on Hypnotic. I tell Term we need the drums. Ancestors all around me trying to tell me where I'm from, because we would have the conversation like, yo, you don't want this joint to knock? And he'll be like, nah, Fev, like, I don't make that kind of joint. Like, this gotta sound like this, you know what I'm saying? And I'll be like, yo, you sure? Because I think if this joint was knocking, you know what I'm saying? And he'll be like, nah, man. So, yeah, that's the duality of both projects, for real. With Rob Markman, man. Shout out to Rob Markman, man.